Hello, all. So I just sat down and watched the Sarkeesian effect, and I wish to review it and give you my thoughts. But before I do, a bit of a disclaimer. If my comments section for this video gets full of comments from men's rights activists and gamergaters stating horribly sexist things, then I will remove my comments. You know, if they state women suck, queer people suck, this guy really sucks because he is clearly queer and he likes women, so he really sucks. If I get comments like that from gamersgaters, from the men's rights activists, if I get spammed with trolls, I will remove the comments completely. So if the comments are removed, that's why. Because I don't get paid anything for reading your crap. And your crap is really annoying if it's sexist, if it's offensive, and I don't want that kind of stuff on my channel. So if it's there, I'm just going to turn off my comments. And if you spam me, I'm just going to turn off my comments. Because I don't get paid anything to listen to you guys make fun of me. Okay? Okay, so remember, ball's in your court. You don't want me to turn off the comments? Don't make horribly sexist, degrading statements, okay? Don't do it. Just don't do it. And then we'll all be happy. Okay, but disclaimer aside, here's my comments on the Sarkeesian Effect movie. So a bit of backstory. Anita Sarkeesian is a person who's made a video series about sexism in media. A subgroup of the video series commented on sexism in video games, and she made her point of view known, and she made a little editorial, and she's been making those videos for a while now and putting her thoughts out there, as you know, people on the internet do. She asked for some money to make her videos a bit better, and she got some money and made the videos a bit better. They have actually drastically improved in quality, so it's obvious the money is going to somewhere. Anyways, while making the videos, she did get a lot of complaints, a lot of insults, a lot of harassment. One guy even threatened to blow up a school. He said he'd blow up a school, and police were called, and it was a genuine bomb threat. Of course, she's gotten quite a couple of rape threats, and the harassment has gone on. And of course, she made a video about sexism in video games, and now there's all these guys being very sexist towards her. So it kind of made her argument kind of pretty solid. I'm not sure if that was the intent of the harassers, but that was the result. So yeah, she got harassed a lot. A guy threatened to blow up a school. All that crap went down. The Sarkeesian Effect movie is made by two guys who were clearly part of the harassing group who don't like Anita, so they made a movie about why they don't like her. And this movie has a fair share of problems. Number one, they started their own money-making thing to make this video better, but it's one of the worst videos out there. It's not well made. This video you're watching right now, I'm just throwing it together. I'm just improvising it all, and it's better made, and this didn't cost me a dime. These guys have stolen countless dollars, and they've obviously taken all that money and thrown it into a jacuzzi tub. And they're fighting each other over the money. Like, the group that have made the film, they've split. And that's why the film is getting released early in an unfinished state. Like, it's a worker's cut. Because these two guys are fighting over the cash, and they've split ways because they both want the money so bad, the money they clearly haven't spent at all on the film. It's such an obvious scam because this is so shoddily made. But let's skip over that. Let's get to the actual film itself, besides, you know, the technical problems. So the movie opens with a statement of Anita's harassment and going into quite a bit of detail with this guy at speaking stand saying how she's been harassed. And then this voiceover starts saying, yeah, well, she's actually a bad person. Yeah. So there's this big long intro of how she's actually been harassed and actually mistreated. And then the voiceover starts saying, oh, actually, she's bad. So we, the viewer, from listening to this opening statement of her harassment, know she's been mistreated, know she's been wronged, and then this voiceover starts up saying, let's mistreat her and let's harass her some more. So what I'm getting at is the opening of the film, by default, puts you against the filmmakers, because you know from the opening that Anita has been mistreated, and these guys are just going to mistreat her some more, because they right out open with, yeah, she's a dick, and yeah, he's wrong, she wasn't actually harassed even though she was. That's how the movie opens. You can't have that opening and still think Anita's a bad guy, because the whole opening is about how she's actually a good person and been mistreated, and then the video harasses her some more. So the opening puts you against the filmmakers. So they don't even make their argument that well. But I guess the thing that I should comment on are the actual arguments made against Anita and her work. So let's comment on those. So the first argument that's made is from a sex worker. They talk to a sex worker, and the sex worker comments that in some of comments in the feminist circles, they state sexual objectification is bad, and she works in the sex industry, and it's led to her mistreatment. Now, I've actually made similar comments in one of my videos. I actually have, and so it's actually not that bad of an argument to make. But it's not really Sarkeesian's main argument or even point she's trying to make. And this person, the sex worker that they're talking to, barely comments on Sarkeesian. She's actually upset with a completely different woman who's been making her job hard. And I guess she has every right to be upset with that completely different woman, but I don't know, Sarkeesian isn't that woman. She just goes on her own tangent about how hard of a time she's had because of this other person that has nothing to do with Sarkeesian. Nothing. So she's upset. She probably has a right to be upset, but it has no relation to Anita Sarkeesian. And the filmmakers wanted to relate because it sounds bad. You know, this person is getting in the way of a sex worker just trying to do their job. That sounds kind of baddish. But it's not Anita that's doing that. So how can we relate it? So by default, the movie starts comparing video games to porn. And in one part during the interview with the sex worker, she says all video game characters look just like porn actresses. So it's really bad that people slut shame them. Well, first off, looking like a porn actress, you shouldn't be slut shamed for. That is bad. No ifs or no buts. But why do all women characters in video games look like porn actresses? Why are you even making that statement? Seriously, a good 10 minutes of this movie is comparing video games to porn and saying people don't like porn actresses and sex workers, so that means people are mistreating video game people. Porn and video games are different things, but it compares them to such a degree. All I can say is I honestly don't think anyone in this film, in the making of this film, besides Anita, of course, have actually played any video games. I don't think they have. They haven't played any video games. I'm certain that all the games they've played were sex simulators on porn sites. And let me tell you, you guys, you should play some video games. There are a lot of good games out there, and you're missing them. You are missing the good games. The second argument against Anita is even more ridiculous than the first. The first is pretty ridiculous because it has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything. Like, she's not attacking porn stars or sex workers. Anita has never attacked porn stars or sex workers. Ever. So that has nothing to do with anything. The second attack on her is even more ridiculous because the second attack is that she victimizes herself for money. Now, let me state this. A guy threatened to blow up a school. People have threatened to rape her. She's gone to the police. That's not victimizing yourself. That's common sense. If someone says they're going to blow up a school, you go to the police. Okay? That's what I would do. I've gone to the police for far less than that. Alright? So just remember, if a guy's threatening to go to blow up a school, you are no longer allowed to contact the police. Because that's bad. That's victimizing yourself for money. You can't ever contact the police if people are threatening to kill you. So yeah, their whole argument is her getting help for being victimized means she's a horrible person. Because she sure didn't fake being victimized. A guy really did threaten to blow up a school. She really did get countless of death threats. That all, happened. So she didn't fake it. So the bad thing she did was call the cops. So calling the cops when you're being threatened with death is wrong. And she's a horrible person for doing that. And she's victimizing herself. And it ends with this argument. It ends this argument by introducing Paul Alma, a men's rights spokesperson who runs a Voice of Men, who is considered a Voice of Men is considered a hate group. Just stating a fact there. It introduces this guy, and his first words out of his mouth is how much he's been victimized, how mistreated he is, how much he needs your money, how many steps on his soul and persecutions he's got. And he goes on about this for 10 minutes. And the person who's interviewing has a big old grin on his face. So when Paul Alma says he's been victimized, he's awesome. When Anita says she's been victimized, she's bad. Honestly, they go into this whole tangent about how she shouldn't victimize herself. Then they bring in a guy who does nothing but victimize himself, and they say he's awesome. Then they interview some random guy that has nothing to do with anything, and then the movie just ends. Now, of course, it's a rough cut, but still, man, it just ends. They just interview some random dude that has nothing to do with anything, and it just ends. So that's the whole movie. That's the entire movie. The only thing I missed out on commenting on is that 50% of the footage is actually footage from Anita Sarkeesian's videos. They took so much of her material, she could sue them for doing that. If you've seen her videos, you've seen half of this movie. So, yeah, that's the whole movie. It's incompetently made. It horribly undermines its own argument. And, here's the best part. I almost forgot this best part. All the people that they interview, almost all the people, are either women or people of race. Almost all of them. It's almost like the filmmakers are blatantly sexist and blatantly racist, and they didn't want us, the audience, to know, so they got as many race people and as many women people as they could to interview for the film to try and trick us. You didn't succeed. We know you're sexist. We know you're racist. We know you only hired those interviewers to look good. We know that. It's obvious. So the movie is incompetently made. It undermines its own argument. The argument is ridiculous. It can't tell the difference between porn and video games. It feels like everyone involved in the film has never played a video game. And all the people that are interviewed in the film all agree with the filmmakers. When you make a documentary, you do not just videotape people that agree with you. When you do that, it makes it blatantly obvious that you're making propaganda. And not very good propaganda. So, it's blatantly propaganda. So, I don't know, but I'm going to say this. This isn't a bad movie. If you like VHS Viral, if you like Jaws Free, if you like Troll 2, if you like really crumbly made movies that end up being laugh riots, then you'll love this movie. Because it's so badly made that it's a laugh riot. And I got a good chuckle out of it. It's obvious the people that made it are sexist people. It's obvious the people that made it are horrible people. But they've made a funny movie by making it so blatantly obvious that they're such horrible people. And I'm sure this won't bother Anita that bad because it's so horribly and shoddily made. So I don't think she's going to be wounded at all by this. But yeah, so I liked it. I liked how shoddily made it was, and it's a good B movie. If you get some friends and you turn it into a drinking game, you will actually enjoy this. So in the right frame of mind, realizing the fact that everybody involved in this is a dick and is just taking people's monies so they can have a jacuzzi tub full of cash, keeping all that in mind, this is still an enjoyable flick. And I still liked it. So, good going. You dicks.